Hi, everyone. My name is Albert, one of the co-founders at VectorShift. Today, we're going to talk about how to build a lead classification automation through the VectorShift platform. I've gone ahead and prepared a spreadsheet with 5 companies, and say we just want to classify which industry this company belongs to, each of these companies. I've only have 5 on this list, but imagine you can have a list of thousands or even tens of thousands of companies on this list, and you want to apply the same classification algorithm to each item on the list. Let's head over to the VectorShift platform to show you how to do this. Whenever you have a repetitive action that you want to do, how to approach it in VectorShift is you want to break down this repetitive action to the atomic unit, right? What is the thing that you want to do for each item in this list, right? For each item, each company on this list. So what we want to do is we want to classify this company into a few different industries. So let's go ahead and build a pipeline that can do it for one company. And then we'll build a second pipeline that can call the atomic pipeline on repeat so that it can always perform the action a lot of different times. Let's drag out an input node. What this node does is it allows for data to be passed into the pipeline. Let's name it company because it's going to pass in the company name. Let's perform a Google search on the company. So let's pull web search, Google search. Let's connect the company name to the search query. We probably only need 5 results. And there's 2 types of data that the Google search node responds with. One is a list of the top 5 URLs and a list of the top 5 snippets, right? So we can use the snippets, right? The snippets are just pieces of information that you can see on Google, right, underneath each of the hyperlinks, to a large language model to give us some additional context on how to do the classification. Let's go ahead and drag out an OpenAI large language model, and let's write the prompt in the system prompt of how to actually do the classification. Within the system prompt, this is how you actually guide the LLM on how to perform its work. So let's go ahead and say, you classify the company into one of 3 categories: automobiles, consumer packaged goods, or retail. If the company doesn't fit into one of these 3 categories, respond with other. Always respond with only the category and nothing else. Perfect. So what we have to do is let's pass both the company name and the data from the Google web search to this large language model so it has some data to work with, right? So the company that we're going to be classifying sits under this input node that we've renamed as company. We want the text from the input node. And then we want the snippets, not the URLs, right? The snippets from the Google web search. Google search, and let's put the snippets in. We can also prompt the large language model to use the Google search results as potential context to do your classification. Now, we need to send the classification back through an output node. So let's drag that out, and there we go. So we can go ahead and test this out really fast. And let's just put in Ford because that's the first item of the list. And we can see that's correctly classified it as automobiles. We can actually see through these intermediary outputs, like what actually came out of each item. So for example, snippets, it came out with some information about, different types of cars Fords might have. This could be very useful in actually doing the classification. And looks like we have successfully built this classification pipeline. Let's call it classified leads, and make sure to deploy a pipeline so that we can actually use it in another pipeline. So now we have to go and create another pipeline that can call this on repeat for every item on a spreadsheet. Set back to the pipelines page, click new, create pipeline. And what we're going to do is we're going to first build an integration with Google Sheets. So because we want to read that data from the sheet. So let's take read from sheet, connect your account if you haven't done so already, and let's pick the file. I'm going to go ahead and search the file that I'm using and confirm selection. And we've populated the columns from the spreadsheet into the output fields. So as you can see, there are 2 columns, company and category. Company is the one that we want to use, right? We want to classify each of these companies and then put the industry over here. You can see that the data type for company is list of text. What list of text means it's a list of every item on that column A. Let's go ahead and just print it out so that we have a visual here. We have Ford, Walmart, Coca-Cola, Target, Pepsi, which reflects every item here. Now we can use the pipeline node to call the pipeline that we just created on repeat for every item on that list. Let's call the pipeline called classify leads. It takes in an input variable called company that we renamed, right? It takes in just text, right? One singular, like variable. So for us to take in a list of companies, we need to turn on list mode. So let's just click this button right here. And now you can see the input is now list of text. What this means is now we're going to run this pipeline on every item in a list. Now let's go ahead and select the company output field within this Google Sheet. So now what we're doing is we're reading all the data from the sheet, we're pulling it down in the list, and then we're going to apply this classification algorithm to every item in that list. And now the final step is we want to write the classifications as a list back into column B of the spreadsheet. So let's drag on another Google Sheet node, and we're going to do column list writer, which means we're going to write a list of data back into the Google Sheet. Let's go ahead and pick the file again. And we want to write to the category column. So you can see the pipeline node is already outputting a list of text, right? This is a list of classifications that are coming out from running this pipeline 5 times. And we're going to put those classifications right into the category column. Let's go ahead and run this. As you can see, you can track your progress of your pipeline. It's already finished, and it's already written the categories in. It only took a few seconds. And looks, it has correctly classified Ford into automobiles, Walmart into retail, Target into retail, and Coca-Cola and Pepsi into CPG companies. Hopefully this was helpful. Just as a review, to do list mode within VectorShift, build a pipeline that describes the atomic unit of what you're trying to automate. Here it's classifying one item in the list. Then you create a second pipeline that passes in a list of information, and you call that pipeline on repeat for every item in the list. Thank you very much.